It's somewhere between 2009 and 2013. You're surfing the web, and after hours of casual scrolling through a certain YouTube.com, things start to seem a little different. You've left the realm of Charlie the Unicorn and epic rap battles of history, and you find yourself gazing upon an android with the voice of gold. A bitch who hates soup, and then you see her. She sits perched upon her couch, transfixed by the hand thing. Her name, Shaye Saint John. Her hand thing, iconic to this very day. The bizarre realm of weird women on YouTube. Seriously, why were there so many divas on this part of YouTube? Was referred to at the time as the weird side of YouTube. The weird side of YouTube rapidly began to be perceived as scary YouTube by many early commentary channels, but I've always found that horror isn't really the right label to represent all of these videos. Specifically, the woman we're going to talk about today, Shaye Saint John. Hello, my name is glitchwitch.jpg, you can just call me glitchwitch, and I make videos about internet horror ranging from modern things like analog and digital horror back to creepypastas and internet urban legends and just general internet history, but usually focused on horror. Today, I'm going to be looking back at one of my favorite fixations upon weird YouTube and early internet horror, which is the fabulous, the iconic Shaye Saint John. Since I was a teenager, I have always been confused by Shaye's hand thing video, or trigger, as she calls her videos, being grouped in with spooky, scary videos like the aforementioned There Is Nothing and Terror the Android. Sure, on her own, Terror the Android isn't that scary. It's just the lack of context is what makes it so scary. But Shaye has so much context surrounding her. She has a huge internet presence and a huge presence out in the real world as well. So I just have never found her frightening. I find this character and her body of work so funny and endearing and really just revolutionary. So I want to take a look on, who Shaye Saint John was and her impact not only on the internet but just on the world of outsider and alternative art, because she is such a misrepresented nugget of internet history, which is what I like to sink my grubby little paws into. Let's take a look at how she came to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shaye Saint John! Something's been planted in Shaye's brain.
All Shay wants to do is entertain.
If you're feeling sad, please refrain. Maybe a morning session for a scary watching fly. Maybe a nomination cause Shaye is out of sight. Look out!
Now, Shaye may be the woman that we all know and love, but there is no Shaye without Eric. Eric Fournier was born in Indiana in 1967 and would grow up to be an integral part in creating the Indiana punk scene through his bands Blood Farmers and Skelegore. His ties to the underground art scene would eventually lead him to LA, where Shaye would be created. Despite being the frontman of punk bands, Eric was a very shy and reserved man, and he kind of liked to take the back seat within his art, which is why the evolution into a character like Shaye Saint John made all the sense in the world for him. Shaye Saint John first appeared in LA in the 1990s, and in a Vice article, Carl Crew, who was one of the frequent collaborators with Eric working on Shaye, he explains her backstory. Quote, "After being struck by a train, former model Shaye spent many months in the hospital and lost both arms and both legs. She uses a wheelchair and doll-like mannequin limbs. During her time in the hospital, the CIA performed mind control experiments on her until she was the, quote, most implanted person in the world. As a result, her behavior is a bit odd." End quote. Eric, later with the help of Carl, would create short films that they called triggers and screen them around LA. Carl was a known showman in the LA art scene, so a lot of people thought that he was the person in the Shaye costume, but it was Fournier all along. And I hope I'm saying that correctly, that Fournier, it might be Fournier. And to this day, Carl remains very devoted to the concept of Shaye Saint John and refers to her as a separate person from Eric, and that she still lives on and still exists on her own. And Eric would continue to perform with Shaye for the rest of his life, which was tragically cut short in 2015 when Eric was only 42. He passed away from complications of alcoholism. Well, Shaye has not made any appearances since Eric's death, and when he passed away, some folks on the internet dubbed it the death of Shaye Saint John. Carl hinted to Vice that there's a chance she could return, just maybe in a different form, because it would not be the same without Eric. So now that we've discussed the roots of the creation of Shaye Saint John, let's talk about her relationship with the internet. That's why we're all here, right? We're all here to talk about the internet, love the internet, live on the internet. As I said, she was frolicking through the LA art scene. People were freaked out. She got banned from some screening places because people didn't know what to make out of it, which is a crazy thing to say because the LA art scene was already weird as hell, but Shaye was too weird for some people. She was doing this for almost a decade before she would pop off on the internet with the now infamous hand thing, which was uploaded to YouTube on July 13th, 2007.
Shaye, are you still doing that hand thing? I heard you're doing the hand thing today. God, what is that? Shaye, what is it? You've been doing this for 24/7. Shaye, you've been doing the hand thing all day? I heard you were. Jordan told me you had been doing it on a sleeping bag earlier. Shaye, I can't stop doing the thing. What is it? God, I heard you're doing the hand thing. Shaye, my hands are hurting, Shaye. What is that? God, what is it? Gosh, Shaye, have you been doing this for 24 hours in a row? Shaye, I can't stop doing the thing. What is it? Shaye, are you still doing that hand thing?
The video is without a doubt Shaye's most popular video, and it shows a friend of Shaye's, similarly mannequin-faced, asking Shaye if she's still doing that hand thing. And then the two go on to do the hand thing for the rest of the video. It's riveting. And I'm not being sarcastic, I'm not being ironic. There is an absurdity and weird comfort to Shaye's videos that I think is so ahead of its time. I think modern sketch series, I think You Should Leave and things like that, and Eric Andre and stuff like that, clearly take the same vibe as things like Shaye Saint John. The only thing that I can compare it to that I know of being a contemporary of Shaye is the legendary, iconic, though not as popular, short film, The PriceMaster.
Take a check. I'll give you $17.95. $17.95 for the mini TV. PriceMaster, how much for the bronze crucifix?
Oh, these are wonderful. The signs themselves are worth it. I'm glad you like it.
Which was produced around the early 2000s when Shaye was, you know, really out there. And can I just say, can a Shaye Saint John girl and a PriceMaster boy really fall in love? I really want someone to draw fan art, like ship fan art of Shaye Saint John and the PriceMaster. That's my new OTP. That's the glitchwitch.jpg official OTP. Where my Tumblr girlies at. We can make this happen. Now, even though hand thing, which let me hit a hand thing. I gotta hit a hand thing. I know you're all doing it. I know you're all doing it at home because you're watching me do it. Hit the hand thing. Hit the hand thing. Now, hand thing was not the first time Shaye was on the internet. She had been uploading to YouTube as early as 2006. This is information I got from the YouTube channel Shaye Saint John Archives. Incredible source, by the way. But her internet presence dates back to 2001 when her website was originally published, which we will take a look at in a second. And she was also active on websites like LiveJournal, which she used to communicate with fans and just share blog posts and things like that. So pretty much almost from the beginning, Shaye was very connected to the internet. And hand thing was just the first thing to go viral. And I don't really know why hand thing of all things is the one that went viral, because I don't think it's the most absurd. I mean, I'm showing clips throughout this video of other Shaye triggers, and I think hand thing is pretty tame compared to some of the other ones. Like, some of them are just batshit, and hand thing feels very, like, I don't know, boring almost in comparison. I mean, I love hand thing, but it's just interesting. You know, you never know what's gonna hit, what's gonna go viral. That's the nature of the internet, right? Shaye Saint John just makes sense on the internet, right? And I feel like, and again, maybe people have discussed this and I just haven't seen it. You know, the internet is crazy. There's people who have 1 million subscribers on YouTube that I don't even know their name because that's the nature of the internet. But I think Shaye Saint John is like the proto internet influence. She hand thinged so Emma Chamberlain could run. Okay. Makes sense. She's so hungry for attention. She's so used to getting admiration and people fawning over her because of her background as a model. But because she got in her accident and no longer looks conventionally attractive, her only way to go about this is to go on the internet where she can reach more people. And maybe people aren't watching her for the right reasons, you know, it's like watching a train wreck kind of thing, whereas she doesn't care, she's just getting attention.
Kiki, you're gonna have to try to sell your bucket of bones that H.G. Wells got you at the premiere of War of the Worlds back in '56. Kiki, that was a blast, but I'm gonna have to sell your War of the Worlds bones for at least $250,000 on the internet. Kiki, I know that all the things in the world, one of them that you love best is laid in your bucket of bones that H.G. Wells gave you, but I'm gonna have to take those back, sell them on the internet. And of course, you know, she has genuine adoring fans. But a lot of people, especially once hand thing went viral and the whole weird side of YouTube thing, many people just found her scary and weird. They weren't taking her seriously as an artist or, you know, as a woman. Look at modern influencers who have become victim to this sort of thing. And now the people I'm about to mention, morally gray, I will say. I'm not condoning their actions, but I am absolutely saying that people have been complicit in maybe their own mental health struggles being compounded by the way the internet treats them. And that's people like Trisha Paytas, who I know has been around pretty much since the beginning of YouTube as well, but she has like really evolved, and there have been a lot of questionable times in her career as an influencer, as well as someone like Nikocado Avocado, who, I mean, let's be real, we are all just literally watching that person hurt themselves for attention. And that's a hard thing. It's a weird relationship that we have with these influencers. Of course, this has been a phenomenon since the concept of celebrity existed, with paparazzi and, you know, ending tragically, like things with Princess Diana, or
people like Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan who are so hounded, it just compounds existing issues that they already have, either mentally or physically. But the internet allows us to get even more instant and intimate relationships with people who probably we never ever would have seen otherwise. You know, if Shaye Saint John existed in the 1940s, she would have just faded into obscurity in her lore. I mean, you know, if this was a famous model who got in an accident, she would have just gone away. Like, we wouldn't know anything about her. But because we have the internet, people like that can just keep going and going and going, whether it's healthy for them or not. And I think that Shaye is a great read on that, and a great, you know, kind of satirical take on that before it was even a huge thing. Like, the concept of the influencer has just gotten huge in the past decade. So I think it's a really smart commentary on just fame and celebrity and how we treat influencers and celebrities who, you know, sometimes we don't view as people, and it's not fair to them. Even if, you know, they are maybe not the greatest people in the world, they are still people. And I think when we lose that reality, it can get scary for both sides. That said, again, so Shaye is so ahead of her time. I think genius, also just funny, wacky. And speaking of funny and wacky, let's just take a look at her website. You know, I'm showing clips throughout this video. I'm not going to go in depth on all of her videos because there's just so many. Thank goodness that they have been archived so well. But I do want to look at her website because I think her website is a great example that, you know, she was on the internet well beforehand thing, and it just shows her personality and the humor and the genius of Shaye Saint John. Now, this website is no longer up actively, but thanks to the Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine, we still have it. Okay, so here is Shaye Saint John's website, and there are going to be some audio jump scares. I'm gonna warn you right then. Lots of autoplay. It's very 2001 in the best way possible. I just love it. So, I'm just gonna enter. Again, there's that audio autoplay. So this is like the home page, essentially, and I don't know that I'm gonna go over every single page. There are great, like, hour-long in-depth exploration videos that I can link below. But let's start with Meet Shaye. Now, I love the design of this website. It's everything that we don't have today. Like, I wish websites still looked like this. I am a graphic designer by profession. I don't know if a lot of you know that. And I should hate this, but I'm so sick of everything being clean white background with a clean sans serif font. I want maximalism. I want this. I want GIFs. I want bright red. This is a nightmare to read, the red on the blue on the red, but okay. So we have beautiful Shaye here by the pool. And these are all just like random okay. Just random things, like art made by two kids. I watched as Gretel and Frank make these pictures. They really enjoyed themselves. I was really tired of hearing Gretel's voice. It is so nasally. Frank is the better artist. Yeah, it's just weird. Like, there's not, I don't want to say there's not a lot of substance. There's a lot of substance, but it's like, it's just never ending. Like, it just keeps going and going. So here's some photos. Here's Shaye and her doll, Kiki, who you've probably seen throughout the video. Kiki is her little doll she always has with her. And she really feels like, I don't know, you know, like the character in Mommy Dearest, the way she talks and the way she's not very nice to people. Like, she's, I don't know, she's just crazy. Isn't she gorgeous? I'm a waterfowl lover. I don't know if the Glitch Witch watchers knew that, so I love doing things in the sun is fun. Me the ball and Squirt's the dog. Squirt's is Kiki's pet. She rides on Squirt's back. They go around for hours. I will post a pic here to prove it. So this really does feel like Shaye is running the website, which is cool. Because, I mean, to be perfectly honest, she was. I love this sequence of events. I had just gotten a bake oven from Ron John and I was so excited. The bake oven had a problem and an hour later exploded in flames. I do not talk to Ron John anymore. I made a movie about this incident called Shake, Bake, and Explode. I will post it in the future on the movie page. In the initial explosion, I was lucky that I had taken the bake outside when it started making a weird sound. I thought I was a goner. My hand got burned a little. Flames shot from the bake oven. I was so panic-stricken. See, it's just like never ending. Like, you could literally spend hours. Hello everyone, I got a job as one of those non-rotting nuns. I am officially an incorruptible. All I have to do is lay here. Sweet job, huh? The guy who sells the hot dogs said I was the best he had ever seen. I am. Like, I love this. And in a way, like, she is a modern incorruptible saint. She can't die. Even though, you know, her creator is no longer with us, we will never forget her. And in that way, she's like a tulpa. Every time I go over Trudy, you get this pop-up. Yeah, let me read her bio up at the top. Hi, my name is Shaye Saint John, and I am pleased to meet you. If you do not already know who I am, you must be living under a rock. Long story short, I am an entertainer, I'm a model, I'm a singer, I'm a magician, I'm an actor, I am so many things. I am also the world's record holder for having the most problems. If you look around my website, you will understand what I mean. Though I have many problems, they do not stop me from being all the things I am. If you have problems, I hope I can show you that they do not have to stop you from doing all the things you want to. I hope I can help you with your problems while living with mine. Go to the bubble and see the colors. What is the bubble? Oh, so it's a flash game? Yeah, so it has, I don't know if all her videos are still up on this website. A lot of those are online, like on YouTube, people have archived them. Kiki is her doll, okay.
Something strange is happening to Shaye and her doll Kiki. Something strange is happening.
So yes, Kiki sleeps in her basket, it's where she lives, and she gets just as much fan mail as Shaye, which I wonder if that makes Shaye jealous, to be honest.
Something strange is happening to Shaye and her doll Kiki. Something strange.
I wonder, there must have been a fan club at some point. The boat hat, live for the boat hat, love for the boat hat. So yeah, the club that she's referring to on this page is the California Institute of Abnormalities, the CIA, not to be confused with the Central Intelligence Agency, which operated on Shaye, and the California Institute of Abnormal Arts. I can't say that with my combo Midwestern Southern accent. I can't speak at all. I don't know why I have a YouTube channel. Anyway, that is run by Carl, who was one of the collaborators that worked on Shaye Saint John. So a lot of her triggers were filmed at the California Institute of Abnormal Arts, and that's where she performed a lot as well. So, I mean, there is tons. You can keep going and going. This is just a way to take a look and see what the vibe was and show, I mean, this was up since 2001, you know? Like, it's just, it's crazy. It really is. So now that we've taken a look at her website, gotten a vibe for just, you know, how well thought out this character was, I just want to talk about how, you know, even though she has made her mark on the internet and is integral to what we consider internet horror or the weird side of YouTube or the weird part of the internet. Her existence transcends it. She lived a full life as a creation outside of the internet. Like other weird side of YouTube creations like There Is Nothing and Transfiguration, Shaye was created as a fine art piece. To me, I view Shaye as like very radical and avant-garde drag, kind of almost like the next evolution of what the outsider drag artist Divine was. Divine was famous for her roles in John Waters films and working with John Waters, and she presented as more of a traditional drag queen, I guess. I mean, she was still very over the top and kind of grotesque compared to like pageant queen that you see, but her true radical nature came in her actions. You know, she's famous for in Pink Flamingo, she ate dog poop and things like that. Love Divine, love John Waters. If you're into things like Shaye Saint John and have not explored the films of John Waters, I highly recommend. Shaye's appearance puts her in this weird place between like a drag performer and a doll. And, you know, drag has always been a radical art form. It goes without saying, because it is made by queer people and people on the fringes of society. But this punk and alternative representation was just not as normalized, even when Divine was doing it or even when Shaye was doing it. Now we're starting to see it a little bit more with artists like Abora and Orgotic, who are two of my favorite modern drag performers. And I think that maybe that's why Shaye wasn't maybe perceived as a drag persona or a drag character, despite, I mean, by definition, you have a male identifying individual dressing up as a female identifying individual, which drag is a lot more than that. There are drag kings, there are non-binary drag performers, which is why I like to use the term drag artist or drag performer. And again, Eric may have never intended for Shaye to be a drag persona. This is just kind of my own read as a huge fan of alternative drag. There's a humor and a aesthetic with Shaye that I think fits into that world, even if that was not the intention. Regardless, you know, Shaye was a way for Eric to express himself freely without the fear of being perceived as Eric. And I think that that's something that a lot of artists feel. You don't want to be the center of attention, but you want to create and you want people to experience what you want to create without it being about you. And I think it's amazing that Shaye allowed him to do this, because he clearly had so much to give. And it's amazing that he was able to do that through her. And they were a team together. In that Vice article I was talking about earlier, they did an interview with art curator Lenora Claire, and she described her evolving relationship with Shaye, which began after meeting her at a birthday party, and she had hired Shaye to come thinking that it was Carl who performed as her, but realized it wasn't. She didn't know who Shaye was, but they continued to communicate over LiveJournal. They were talking all the time. Shaye was giving her advice on her life and her creativity and all things like that. And finally later at a separate party, Eric kind of like quietly walked up to Lenora and revealed that he was Shaye. And she kept that secret out of respect for Eric. And she says that Eric is Shaye, and without him, she's just a series of rubber parts sitting in a chair. And while I love Carl's commitment to the world of Shaye and how she exists on her own, I have to side with Lenora's view, because Eric is Shaye and Shaye is Eric. You can't have one without the other. But the existence of Shaye allows Eric to live on forever, even though he was taken from us way too soon. And while he has passed and there will be no new Shaye content, no new Shaye triggers or performances, she will always live on because we love her and we remember her. She transcends a simple human being. Shaye Saint John is a wonderful example of the power that internet archiving can have on art and on legacy. YouTube terminated the original Shaye Saint John page in 2017, just 2 years after Eric passed away. And thank God, she has dedicated friends and fans who worked tirelessly to archive most of her triggers. A lot of her work is still up on YouTube thanks to the hard work of people like the Shaye Saint John Archive and other friends and fans of Shaye. Without the amazing work of the Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine, we wouldn't have her website still. And that's such an incredible relic of not only Shaye, but just that version of the internet that is rapidly disappearing. If you've made it this far in the video, I have one favor to ask you. Go on YouTube and watch a few of Shaye's triggers, and pick the one that makes you laugh the most, or freaks you out the most, or makes you think the most, and send it to one of your friends. I think that, a lot of younger people are exploring and discovering the internet that people my age were discovering when we were younger. And I hope that means that there's a whole new generation of Shaye Saint John fans waiting to be created. And I hope that I can be responsible for even just one person taking a moment to go look at her work. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment below your earliest memory of seeing Hand Thing or other kind of misunderstood weird side of YouTube creations that you think deserve to be looked at in a different light, like Shaye. Please let me know what you would like me to cover in the future. I love kind of doing these flashbacks and deep dives on things that I loved when I was younger. But also, I love learning about new things. Like I made a video about the My Little Pony infection AU, and that was all new to me, and it was such a fun experience. So anything, please let me know. I love making these videos for y'all. So, have a nice day. Thank you for watching, and go do the hand thing. Bye.